Sure. Yeah.
selling
Let's go back to the beginning. What
we
the hell?
can go back to the
Let's
beginning.
go back to the beginning.
Because, okay, so my clean date is April 14th, 1996.
Right.
Woo!
And
24 years.
yeah.
4 huge years. Okay.
Yep. And so part of my journey in recovery is I had been actually at the women's prison in 1995. And when I had gotten out, I had stumbling around for a few months. But anyway, I'd finally surrendered on April 14th, 1996. And my home group thought it was a good idea for me to go back once I had a year clean and start, bringing meetings in and helping
Back to
other
women's
people.
prison.
Yeah, well, they
Okay.
told me if you want to stay clean long term, you're going to have to find people to help.
Right.
So,
Right.
so I've been in the women's prison for 23 years now, minus the COVID,
Right. Yeah.
hiccup and all of that. But, so I've always had a heart, for the women in prison and, and just knowing that what part of my journey was, and then I was able to fulfill all the things that I wanted to do in my life because of recovery.
Okay.
And so I had sold that small business that I had, and I took a trip to Florida, and because I kind of had another idea for a little business down there.
Okay.
And then I came back and I sat on my couch and I was like, what am I going to do with my life? And my first thought was I should start a nonprofit to helping other women in getting out of prison.
Right.
And but then my second thought was I'm taking the summer off because all I've been doing is working for 7 years, Yeah. And so I was able to go on a memorial run for a friend of mine that I've known had known since the beginning of my recovery, and I was so excited. I'm like, oh, I get to go on Bill's memorial run. And so I looked up all the people that were going, and anyone that didn't have a girlfriend or a wife or something, I started calling. And someone I had known for, I don't know, like 12 years, I was like, hey, Joe, can I ride on your bike? And he's like, sure.
Hot mama on my bike. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so that's where I met Paul.
Oh.
Yeah.
What were you doing that day, Paul? Like, what
I
brought
was
you to
following that motorcycle that she was on.
That's awesome.
So did you?
That's the truth.
Okay. So and then what? You at the end of the ride, you guys met, or don't tell me you pulled up alongside her and got her on your bike, or I mean, how'd you guys meet that day?
I was getting as close to her as I could on a motorcycle.
And I've ridden on many rides with you. That I'll be bringing up one of the rides, but I know if he says that he was close, he was probably within a foot. Knowing Paul, he was within a foot. Okay, on Harleys, guys. We're talking about motorcycle run here.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so then.
So, well, we sat down to have lunch, and Paul was sitting next to a man and gal that I've known in recovery for like 15 years. And so I sat across from him because I was just like, oh, this guy's interesting. Who is this? Well, a little back thing is that I had been single for 10 years because, I owned a small business. I was very busy. I had a full life. And kind of like everybody that I met was just like, nope, no, just like, no, not worth it. Time is precious,
Right, yeah, of course.
Yeah, so, and I introduced myself to him, and and then I think we went on a ride the next day together.
It was the very next day.
We did.
Nice.
That's awesome. I don't know if you're blushing or not, but I don't think I've ever seen Paul this smiley before. He's like, hell yeah.
I remember it well.
Really? Well, and you'd been in recovery for how long at that point?
Well, let's see. That's been, 5 years?
Yeah,
So
5 years ago.
about 6 years.
Because what's your clean date? What's your
11 years, 10/10/09.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah.
Okay. So then you guys, your relationship starts building, and how? Yeah.
Well, it was crazy. We went out on like an official dinner date one night, and he brought up this vision that he had when he had gotten out of a motorcycle accident, that he should be paralyzed, he should be, all of these things.
Would you
He
care
had-
to tell us about that?
Yeah.
The motorcycle accident, the vision you had?
Well, I can tell you about the vision. The motorcycle accident was it was a high-speed chase, and I crashed. And end of story. The vision began in a hospital bed that I just said, I actually had this vision of like, God, I just want to stay clean. I want to get clean, and I had this vision of a picture, and this is almost a scary story, but like Carolyn mentioned, that it's orchestrated by God totally.
Right. That's awesome.
And I was ready to surrender there too, man. To God and everything. And I had this vision of this picture and these couches and a bunch of people sitting around just loving recovery, liking recovery, sharing it, spreading it, and I was kind of scared. I was just kind of
That's
like,
super
this is
cool.
not me.
Right.
This is not what I want to do. And it was just pulling on me, man. And I got out of the hospital and I went into RS Eden. And just things started progressing, man. I kept having these visions of this picture and this idea of everybody getting together in recovery,
When you say that,
Yeah.
the couches, the people, the way you described your vision, I think it will work.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
exactly what
Totally.
that's
It ends
exactly
up
what
coming to
popped in my
fruition.
head.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, of just a bunch of sober, clean people hanging out, talking recovery, strictly recovery. I mean, hence we'll work for recovery.
Right.
Right.
So you were sharing this vision with you on what, that dinner, your
And
first date?
It was the first dinner date, and I was like, no way.
Yeah, exactly.
I had
We were
this
both
vision of, helping women getting out of prison rebuild their lives, because over the course of 23 years, it can become a revolving door because
Yeah.
we get stuck in our thinking, and there's
Oh,
no
yeah.
one to cheer us on to be like, no, you don't have to live like this.
Right.
You don't have to allow the state of Minnesota control your life.
Sometimes you don't know that till someone tells you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It happens that
And
way.
sometimes you don't know how to get out of there without
No.
help.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
When you get stuck in that system, it's hard. I've been in it.
Yeah, me too.
I think the majority of us
You're
who
right.
sit in
Yeah.
these rooms have at least tasted that being stuck in the grips of the states.
Feeling like you're in a revolving door, like Carolyn said.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
anyways, more of the story.
Yeah, so it was just crazy. I was like, and I remember sitting across the table from him being like,
Really?
Yeah, I was
Really?
just like, what? And then I said, okay, let's do it. I'll do the paperwork. I can deal with the IRS. I was doing that.
Of course you did.
And this is on your first date. First date?
Yeah.
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 Holy cow.
Yeah.
And that's when
It was crazy.
That's when the wheels started turning, because I had this vision and I was like, there's no way I can do this, by myself, or nor do I have the capability to get this all together. And when she was telling me about all her, business ventures
Experiences
and everything
and-
else, I was like, man, let's do this.
Yeah.
Let's
Oh,
do this
yeah.
right now,
Yeah.
And I'd like to just share back that picture and the vision, because this is the scary part, is that when we finally did get it together, which was a few years later, right away I got on to like, okay, now how are we going to do this, this couch and stuff, and I had that picture. This picture is just driving me crazy, so I get on Marketplace to look for some pictures to hang. And I'm telling you, man, the first picture I saw was this thing that I had in this vision, and
Just etched in your mind. This
etched
this
in my
picture.
mind this picture.
Yeah.
And I got on Marketplace, and there was this picture for sale in Eden Prairie, and I'm just like, lady, I gotta have this picture. You gotta sell me this. Well, it's pending. I'll give you this.
You mean a picture that hangs on a
picture
wall?
that's in Will Work for Recovery
Okay,
right now. It was
okay.
the very first picture that we hung up there and said, this is where this is gonna venture from, right around this picture, man. And a lot of people don't know that, but it's like
I've never known that.
What
And I've
picture
been
was
in there
it?
100 times.
It's that 3D wooden big
I know.
colorful picture.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that
It's
picture.
kind of like just an abstract it's kind of a goofy looking picture.
I sat by it and was actually like entrenched in it this Wednesday, like the most time I ever focused on that
Yeah,
picture.
it
So
throws
that's
me
weird.
still when I think about that, when we talk about the vision or something and how it all started.
Yeah.
It's like, God, I remember laying in that hospital just seeing this picture and couches and just stuff. You know I love
Just
the word
stuff.
stuff. You
Just
know I love
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, because it is just stuff, man. You know, and that's kind of where it all.
That's
it
so
just started
awesome.
coming together.
That
To backtrack a little bit
Yeah.
is that we met in September of 2015.
September 2015.
We got the filing from the IRS May 31st, 2016.
oh wow, balls were rolling quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty fast.
Oh, yeah. I was like, we're doing this.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I didn't want to run a business on my own either. You know,
Oh.
I was, yeah.
I mean, that goes to show too. Like when an addict, think of what we put our minds to back in our active addiction.
Sure.
When we
Yeah.
wanted to get that
Yeah.
one,
Yeah.
it was not a problem.
Right.
Yeah.
And people get stuck on this roadblock in recovery. Like I can't do that. You were just saying that. You're like, there's no way I could do this.
Right.
Two people in recovery got together in under a year. That I mean, it's
Right.
amazing. Like you said, it's
It
like
never
God sent.
ceases
Mm-hmm.
to amaze me what God allows to happen and what addicts can do together.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
how the show got started.
Right.
Yeah.
I was
Right.
talking to Eric, and all of a sudden, a week and a half later, we're doing it.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I mean it's crazy because you know we talked about having something different for the younger people.
And it is.
Yeah, we wanted something totally different than had ever been existed, and I searched the whole nation if there were places like where our idea came from, and there was like one in Fort Walton Beach, Florida, that was a recovery community.
Have you ever checked that place out?
No, but I wished I had because that was the area where I was going to start my little business.
Oh, that's a coincidence. I think God was like, we already have one of those here. Go back to Minnesota.
No, but that is, I mean, I can talk from my own. This is what's great about having you guys here, and both Tad and myself, and everyone who comes to these rooms know or has heard about it. I was in my outpatient at Will Work, or at, oh my gosh, see, it gets etched in my mind too, over at New Way there, and we had heard about it. I mean, anyone who had gone there, they were screaming it from a mountaintop. I mean, and it was usually,
Yeah,
new
yeah.
recovery because I always, you hear about meetings and you hear that old persona of the crusty old men and
once you go there,
right,
it's different, and you want
Yes.
you want more of it, and you
100%.
see that now as it's taken off, and
It is taking off.
I miss the potlucks, but that's where we live.
Well,
in
that'll
right
come
now.
back. That'll come back.
Yeah.
My right. My actual first experience with Will Work was last time, and I went there for a chili cook-off. A couple of my buddies,
Yeah.
and I was really tired because I was busy running around like I am now, but I was new in recovery, so I took a nap in the middle of a chili cook-off.
Right.
Yeah.
There's couches there.
And everyone was really nice to me, and that was actually the day I met my friend Leon in person for the first time.
Who we have had on the show.
And I've just made a lot of good friendships at Will Work too, and then I don't know, it was just a cool place.
Yeah, it's real pivotal in a lot of people's recovery.
You had a
Yeah.
band playing at that chili cook-off too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Danny,
Yeah.
great guy. Yeah.
So you guys started in Eden Prairie?
No.
No.
Okay, I thought
That's where the picture came from.
That's where the picture
That's
came
where
from.
the picture started.
Okay. And then was the first location the other side of where you're at now? That's where
Actually, the
No.
first location was a church right down the block from Electric Fetus.
Yeah.
And
wow.
holy schmoly, Rocky. Yeah, it was quite the beginning.
Yeah.
you
Humble
know,
beginning. Yeah.
and then it turns out I had a friend of mine that had a little, what do you call it, antique shop where we went from there. We were there about 3 months, and then we went over here to the antique shop on 2nd Street. And long story short, things kind of, we wore out our stay there and went to the other side of the building.
Okay.
To a little bit bigger spot, and now that's where we've landed, and we're going to be there for a few years. So,
Is that what, are you guys on a multi-year lease or
yeah,
it is?
Yep,
Okay.
yep. A little
I
bit
just
spendier, but it's all working. I wanted to kind of like backtrack a little bit about whether Will Work for Recovery is cool or whether it's this or whether it's
I
that.
heard something crazy cool, and I don't know if you're aware of this, but drug courts are vouching for you guys and telling people to go to Will Work for Recovery to check it out
Yeah,
because
well,
it's
that's really good to hear, and
Yeah.
we
That's
hear a
awesome.
lot of good things. you know, when people come in, their first impression is, wow, this place is really
Yeah.
cool, man. I really love, you know, you guys are real warm and, you know, and that's kind of what's important to me is that it's just like, you know, that people feel comfortable there to where they can
Accepted.
share. And
That's what I was going to go with when
Yeah.
I started talking about what worked from my experience. Yeah.
That's what it does for me. I go every Wednesday night because if you
'Cause
don't
it's
know,
not for everybody.
No.
It's really not,
no.
you know.
and I go there to relax and just be one of the guys because as anyone who knows me, when I'm up here, I don't always get to do that.
Right.
I can come in a meeting and try and sit down in a meeting and barely start.
You hold a lot of positions here where you're volunteering so
and
much here.
I can wear 7 hats and not get any tad
Recovery,
meeting
no,
times
yeah.
and be running around helping people. When I'm at Will Work for Recovery, I just get to be one of the people. I get in there, I see a lot of people and get a lot of hugs and have a lot, you know, do a lot of daps but that's one of the cornerstones of my recovery. And when I was doing that, I was only doing it once a month for a while, and then that didn't work. I needed more personal recovery time, and I made a real big conscious effort about 3 months ago, when you guys were on vacation, actually, that I was going to go there once a week to my best of my ability. And my life has been a lot less stress. It's been like that's where I get rid of my stress just by going to Will Work and hanging out and going to a meeting. I love the place so much.
Yeah. Yeah, and that for me as well, because, you know, working with others is not a replacement for my own personal recovery.
Right.
You know, and I need a place like that too, and thankfully, you know, we found a place to attend a meeting, you know, where it's just like we can just be there for the meeting.
Right.
You know, just to, yeah, you know what I
Just to
mean?
get your meeting in.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
where nobody needs anything from us. Nobody, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Nothing. So
Yeah.
it's great. Yeah.
I
And
have-
and that's very important. I think a lot of people think that, you know, working with others or working at a treatment center or whatever is a replacement for their own personal recovery, but that's not the case.
No, and it's not the
No,
same
no.
as sponsoring. It's not. It's
And-
Right,
no, it's not
right.
at all.
Eventually, for me, what it does is it drains my batteries.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, see, like for them to be there, it's kind of like when you're here.
No,
They're so
yeah,
damn busy
I
there.
know.
I know. I've
Yeah.
seen you guys.
Yeah.
You know, if
Well, and-
everyone wants to come up to you guys too.
know,
I know.
yeah,
I've
yeah.
seen you. It's like chick with the head cut off because I know everyone. That's Paul and Carolyn. You guys
I
are celebrities
see-
in recovery. I mean, come on, let's face it. Everyone wants
unfortunately,
to.
I see-
Everyone wants to be. Talk to you. I mean,
Right.
that's how I was in early recovery. My first year recovery, I was there every day.
That was actually what made me relax one time. I was at a meeting and I seen Paul running around with his head cut off, and I was like, "This looks really familiar." As I was stressed out, and that's it dawned on me. I'm like, "Oh, that's what I do at the club." And I went and sat down and didn't bug Paul, and I just sat down and relaxed as I watched them run around.
Right.
It's a handful sometimes, you know,
I couldn't even imagine.
but it's well worth it.
In the long run,
it really
yeah.
kind of is, you know.
What were you bringing? You said about cool, if it was cool or fun. What were you bringing up there?
Well, we've just heard all kinds of, oh, this place is so cool. This is really cool. You know, the feeling in here, the vibe I get is just so cool. And, you know, Carolyn's always told me, I always say, man, it's just a nice place to hang out. She's, Paul, we don't use hangout. This is not a hangout.
Well, then you get people never leaving. That's the problem.
But
No,
that's kind of,
no.
you know, what it is. I mean, it's just a place to hang out, man, and relax and talk about recovery. And that's what we stress a lot. You know, we don't swear down there. We'll
Right.
be trying out, you
Watch
know,
the
it's part
Fs.
of be mindful of the Fs. We
Yes.
try to, you know, incorporate a lot of different things. And by no means not to be different, but just, you know, just to get some different things in your life.
Well,
you
like
know?
Joe, everyone who's checked in, just glancing. Way to go, Paul. Such good energy in there. It was great.
Hey.
I mean,
Oh,
left
wow.
and right.
Aaron.
Aaron,
Hey, man.
Andy, they're
T's and
all-
P's to Aaron. He's got the vid and he's getting better. Thank you, Ashley and Nathaniel, for kind of giving me a heads up when the audio wasn't working, for kind of steering the comments. And, you know, we just, everyone, if I forget to give you a shout out, I'm sorry. I'm only human. Did we say Joa?
Yep, yes, I did.
Okay. You
Tons
know,
of people are checking in, and
Right.
you guys, we appreciate you.
Christina,
Yeah, right on.
and then Andy, and some of our friends here are checking in too.
You know what's really neat to see too is all them people. You know, they've all been with us for 3 years.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
they've
I
all
have
been on
been.
board since we've started.
I've been
Yeah.
there for
So
3
that
years.
chili
I've been going
cook-off
there.
was
That's-
right after
Yeah.
the start of Will Work then?
Yeah.
Well, the chili cook-off
That
came
was about-
like the next year.
Yeah, you
okay.
guys were,
You know?
I think, going for at least a year when I came there, and that was back in late March of 18 is when
Okay.
I started going there.
Yeah.
And you know what? My own personal story with it I'd like to share is when I started going there, it was in early recovery. I've never attempted recovery, and I came there on foot, and I'd take the bus, and I'd make my way there. Then I graduated to a 10-speed.
Yeah.
So I took the bus, then a 10-speed.
Yeah.
Then graduated to a moped.
You worked for your recovery.
That's where we're getting to. And you know what? Every time I came there from day one, you guys always, it was welcoming. It was, like Joe said, great energy. Every time I came in, there was great energy. Everyone was welcoming. And this was all, you know, a lot of new recovery was in those rooms. Then
And food.
Food,
I used to
always.
cook
food.
every-
There was so much food.
Always the
I
potlucks,
cooked
yes.
every night for like 2 years
Yeah.
straight.
And not just
Monday
just
through
like
Friday.
little bits. You guys were feeding 50 to 70 people a night.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
holy
do a
cow, it was
potluck, but
crazy.
you guys, the majority of the food came from what you were cooking. It was tons. So then I graduated to my first Harley, and these guys, and that's a good thing. They both ride bikes. Like they said, that's how they met. We're on motorcycles, and there's a lot of people that ride bikes there. How many? I mean, just on bike runs alone. I mean, Lee, how many bike runs before COVID? There, what, 10 different runs would leave from
Yeah, we
Woolwork?
did a lot of stuff. Did
Stuff.
a lot of riding.
Yeah.
You know, it's fun to get together
So
and ride.
I want to tell this real quick, this story
Okay.
real quick. The first run I went on with these guys was on my first Harley. And, you know, some would call it a rat bike. I call it my custom. It's my 91 Custom. I love it. I still have it. It's my favorite bike. So these guys I've never ridden in a group before, but I've ridden bikes my whole life. Just my first Harley. So I got my backpack on, and these guys all have they're established, nice choppers, and I'm the guy trying to not keeping up. I'm the jackass kid who's trying to show off, basically. And we were getting down. I think we're going to the big candy store down in Jordan, or that way down.
I love
Yeah.
that place.
So, and I'm keeping up with these guys, whatever. And all of a sudden, John, who rides, usually he rides the 6. He's always in the tail. Comes riding, and he's like, Tam, pull over. I'm like, what? Your license plate came off. And,
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah,
my
yeah,
license
yeah.
plate and tail light. And I'm like, all right, you guys go. I have a backpack with basically 2 toolboxes worth. You know, I didn't know. I made sure every tool was in my backpack.
I do remember.
And fortunately, it was right by like an AutoZone, whatever.
It was,
So I
yeah.
pull over, and I'm just like, go. You guys go. I'm not trying to get these guys all caught up and stopped and this and that. And I didn't know about riding in groups. Every single one of them, and this is normal. Now I know it's what you do. And I'm expecting, all right, I'll just go home when I fix this. Nope. I get to the store, I turn around, every single one of them right there. What can we do to help? They're all there for me. So we sat there. I think I took an hour out of our ride to fix my tail. I had all the duct tape in
Right.
the world and
Yep.
That-
welding glue and whatever. But that was left. We left from Will Work.
That sounds like the attitude at Will Work, though.
That's how it is.
Yeah.
They got your back. I mean, you're there. You got to work for your recovery, though.
There's a couple things I want to talk about quick before we get any further. You guys want to tell everyone where Will Work is and how they can find you on the internet?
Oh, absolutely. The address is 2520 North 2nd Street, Minneapolis, 55411. We are just right outside of downtown. I'm not sure what buses run out there.
But you're right on the
it's
bus
like
line.
it's like a 5-minute walk or something. I used to
a
take
5-minute
it.
walk. Yeah,
I
yeah.
can
It's
tell-
well worth it.
Yeah, and we have a Facebook page, Will Work for Recovery, and then we also have a social page called We Recovery Rocks.
We
And
cover
it's
one
awesome.
word.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
It's all
and-
super awesome.
Yeah, and that's just, kind of like if anything's going on, whatever activities. Well, COVID has kind of rearranged all of our lives
Right.
lately, but
Right.
hopefully we'll get back to normal here pretty soon.
We will. It will.
Yeah.
It's gonna. There's no other ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's coming back.
I'd like to add that, if you can get there, no matter how you get there, we definitely get you a ride.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody walks away
Nobody.
from the place.
Right before the meeting kicks off, they're like, "Who needs rides?" And you raise your hand, and someone gives you a
Yeah,
ride.
we
I've
never-
never
yeah.
ever seen anyone not.
No,
No, they don't.
If you're walking, it's because you want to.
Yep.
When you're leaving there, if that's the only
Clo-
reason you're not getting a ride from someone.
And something else that's really cool, and I just did it myself, is you can now become a member to help Will work. Just like just like Alamo clubs have and other clubs have, that you can pay your dues. It's pretty cheap. It's $20 a month. And, you know, it's something that I do. So should go down there, check it out. And if you like it, become a pledging member to Will Work.
Right.
Just like you can at this club of 2218 or any Alano.
Right.
But, you know, it really, if you go down there, this is a special place. It's different and it's special. And
It's
it
a
helps
home
lot of
of from
people.
home to a lot of people. A lot
Yeah.
of
You
people.
know what it's kind of turned out to be too is like, you know, it's a great place for newcomers to get started and get comfortable and then spread their wings, man, and then bring somebody back and get their wings spreading.
Well, and that's kind of how my story was. I was there
Right.
for a year straight, and then it was like baby bird can leave the nest in a way. And then
Right.
now, like I said, the 5 o'clock on Wednesdays, just this group of guys, like I preach that meeting to anyone that will listen. I get and I've told you this from day one, that I get more out of that than anywhere I go for when it comes to meetings. Then you know
Thanks,
what?
Elena.
The 22 line, the 32, and the 30. Thanks, Joa and Christian.
Oh, yeah, Chris.
That's the bus line. So
Thank you, guys.
It's right there.
Yeah, thanks.
You know, also, like, so when I relapsed personally, before I got back into recovery this time, there was a period before I got into recovery. I went to meetings and had a 9-day stretch, and I went to Will Work every night. And I don't know if you guys remember that. I came in and talked about it, and
I
I do.
They
I
made-
do, yeah.
yeah, and I was pretty skinny then. I'm skinny now, but holy cow, yeah.
And what was the attitude towards you when you were there? those
Nothing
9
but
days?
love.
Exactly.
My friend Ashley talked to me the whole time till I was back in treatment and back on the right path. Like,
Right.
she never stopped talking to me, and a couple other people from there, and it was just super supportive. And because I remember at first when I relapsed, I was looking at all the stuff that you guys. It was the first time in my life I was looking at my clean friends and like, wow, I wish I was doing that. And then,
Right.
you know, and then it went the other way for a while. And you know, I had to do my thing and hit my rock bottoms. You know,
And the doors are always open to
Yeah,
you. No
yeah.
matter what,
And
they're open to you.
and you know, I just and then when I came back, it was like, you know, it was like I never left, and that the love and support I got there, it was, and I've been in a lot of organizations, Alamo clubs and meetings, but that was truly the first time that I ever felt like I was family and that I wasn't shot, that our wounded weren't shot,
Right?
and I was welcome.
That's good.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
good.
And people were coming to my house and stuff because of that.
Right.
And it was crazy.
Some of my strongest friendships today are people I've met at Will Work in my first year of recovery.
Right.
Great.
I mean, Rob, who now is he's my sponsor. That's where I linked up with him. Was there? I mean, he was at other meetings. I saw him, but there because of the aura in the room or the atmosphere, that 5 o'clock meeting.
Right.
That's where I got to get to link up with someone. In other meetings, sometimes it's not. Some meetings, it's just you show up. Yeah, you stay for the meeting after the meeting or what have you. But there, just like Joel was saying, the energy in that room, 99% of the time, I can walk up to a stranger and we
man.
can get to talking about whatever.
It's crazy. The football games are cool too.
Football games Sundays, yeah.
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 Now that it's almost
I mean,
over.
and let's make this real clear: is Will Work for Recovery is very on top of this whole. You know, the face masks. They really
They're safe.
are. They're very very COVID conscious too. I don't want anyone to be fooled about that. They are.
Yep.
Just like we all have to be because we want this recovery thing. We'll do whatever it takes for it. So.
Right. Yeah, well, I mean, I just wanted to say is just that, you know, about your experience, Tad, is that, you know, connection is the opposite of addiction. And, you know, and I think Ashley she has become such a powerhouse of support and
Yep.
For a while, she talked to me every night while I was out there.
Yeah. I mean,
She's checking in
just-
with everybody.
Right,
Yeah, she's
yeah.
very,
Yeah, she really has. And so I just wanted to say another thing about along with this membership is that we became, just in the past few months, we have membership with the Association for Recovery Community Organizations. And what the membership really is about is a peer advisory council, where we'll start organizing that this next week and talk about, what kind of things that we want to do in the future, like events, I always told Paul, no calling it a hangout, because no corporation is going to give us money for a bunch of addicts to hang out.
Well, I remember Paul told this story. You guys were going to, I don't know if it was a fundraiser or something, but you guys had to get dressed up. I remember Paul was telling I don't know, it was me and someone else. He was
Paul
like,
had to dress up.
yeah.
Is there pictures?
Well, I think you may have been, well, whatever the case is. He was like, we're there, and, I don't want to say it was there to get money, but it was at a fundraiser where you're putting your name out. He's like, man, I had to let Carolyn do all that talking. He's like, she could put on that face and but you know what? I truly believe when Paul speaks about it, just like he did, just like that vision, I mean, it's a home run. Anytime I've heard you talk about it, it's just, you get just, it's that energy.
Oh, yeah.
And it's about recovery. I mean,
Paul gets me jacked up sometimes.
hell yes.
Well, that's good.
I mean, and it's no BS. I don't want to say no BS. It's pure. It's pure when you
it's
talk.
the good stuff.
Yeah, on those Wednesday nights when there's always some that we don't just sit and dwell on problems, but we network on how to stay in the solution.
Yeah, and personally, because you guys are up there. You two are personally up there Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Monday,
right?
Wednesday, Friday.
Yeah.
So before I was going on nights you weren't there. On Tuesday and Thursdays, I was. No, and I don't know what that was about. And like thinking about it, that was that story I told where you said my name and I thought I was drunk. That was when the first time I came back from my relapse.
Oh, wow.
So it did kind of set the tone for me that people remembered me and people cared. Because not that. Because I understand now too, because people come up to me and I have no clue who they are, and not that, but like you didn't know who I was the first 5 times, and I get it now, but it meant a lot to me because I came back and I'm like, oh, well, maybe I should not go away this time, and it was I don't know. There's a lot of little things that Paul has done that have affected me, and just like your calmness has.
Calmness.
I mean, whenever you know what, I've seen a couple situations in the way you've handled them, or you don't get mad.
Well,
and I know about one where you did, but we all do. Yeah. But I watched you, the incidents. I watched you mediate perfectly, and I remember sitting in my early recovery and being like, I want to be able to do that.
Well, I've got to tell you, this stuff is in my heart and soul. Recovery as a whole, because I wasn't always like that. You know
right.
No, so when I can do this to the best of my ability, man, it's a plus. It's a miracle, because I'm not always feeling that way. You know what I'm saying? So,
oh yeah.
So
no, it's rough. Talk about you guys are up there, like, not that you're on a pedestal, but you're in the public eye, and you're Paul and Carolyn, who founded Will Work for Recovery. Like, I get that here at 2218. I'm doing squad counsel. I'm doing this show, and sometimes really in me, I just want to call someone a MFer, or want to do, and I get to act appropriately like an adult. And some of that, like, I remember, like, I still punched someone when I was 2 months sober. That's the last time I committed a violent act. And shortly thereafter that, I watched some people get in a skirmish outside, and you didn't bark at them. You were very calm. And I remember saying, like, one day I want to be able to handle situations like that.
Yeah, well,
it was a
not
goal.
Easy sometimes.
No, it's not.
It's really not.
Those things on the wall. No, it's not. I mean,
that's recovery, period. This stuff is not easy, man. There's a lot of stuff. Like I always say, man, it ain't about the steps. You do the steps, man. You practice the principles in all your affairs on a daily basis, and that's the difficult part.
A great guy told me that, I do the steps to save my life, and I practice the principles to save yours.
There you go.
That's awesome.
I mean,
I've never heard that.
Yeah, and it was put to me a little different, but we're going to be friendly about it.
Right.
That these traditions, I mean,
it almost have to be put to you a little different.
Yeah, but you guys understand what I'm saying. Some of the events I want to talk about at Will Work, like I brought it up the other night with a group of guys, and this is how I want to transition into it. Like I was talking about, Wednesday nights, group of guys sitting in there, and we're all adult men, and that's one of the big things in this recovery thing is, I always talk about, like, a 40-year-old guy sitting there telling another grown man, like, hey, bro, I'm hurting. Like, that's a new thing for me. And I've learned I have to do that. If I want to make it to tomorrow happy and sane, I have to reach out. And we were in the rooms talking about it, and it was just this last Wednesday, and I was bringing up about making teddy bears.
Oh, Frank and Teddy.
Could you
Yeah,
guys
right
want to
on.
share about that a little bit?
Oh,
That's one of the
yeah, that's
events.
cool.
Gosh, yeah.
Well, that's actually a couple friend of ours,
brainchild.
brainchild,
Yeah.
that were generous enough to bring it to Will Work for Recovery, and that's kind of where that all got adopted, and bless them, because it's been so much fun. People love it, dig it.
What is it again? Just, I mean, what?
It's sewing stuffed animals, different stuffed animals together or something. Maybe you could explain it a little better.
Yeah, well,
it's
we
really
just
cool.
ask people to bring any, various, no Beanie Babies, none of that, but stuffed animals, and lay them out on the table, and then start chopping them up.
Yeah.
And putting different parts on the.
I'm both excited and horrified.
Do you know how cool it is to watch grown men sew?
So, I know.
Yeah,
That's what I was
I had to
saying.
teach him.
I'm telling you, I'm going, just give me the stapler,
Right.
You figured it out though?
Yeah.
'Cause
Oh, yeah. Oh,
that's
yeah.
what would stop
Safety
me from
pins.
attending is I can't sew.
Oh, don't. And that's the thing is I
Doesn't
was
matter.
telling him my dog's favorite two toys today. Well, two of her main toys. It's a half a teddy bear with a wiener dog's head and a alligator foot, and I
gosh,
sold
yeah.
that though. And
Yeah.
you know what? Like we're talking about with game night and going camping. Like I got outside of myself that day, and I was like, well, screw it. All right, I guess I will. An hour later, you couldn't wipe the smile off my face. Having a blast is growing
Right.
and sewing.
Yeah.
Sewing. Come on.
Yeah, that's
Like-
such a cool idea.
And
Yeah.
that was I understand. Jerry. We it came from another, but it got so big. Where should we have? Will Work. It's perfect. Boom.
Yeah,
We set
yeah.
their table set up, and it's a blast. One of many things you guys do. It's like I wanted to touch on these things. These are the fun things that happens. I mean, we do recovery in those rooms. Lots of good recovery. Lots of big meetings. But things like that. That's. I mean, look, it's awesome, and there's not many places like that.
Right. Someone had just brought up tonight, when are we going to tie blankets again? So
Oh, yeah, that's a
That-
great event.
What's
yeah.
that event?
It's called
that's
Blankets
super
and
fun.
Beanies for Badges. It's the brainchild of my first sponsor. And so I've known her the whole time, but one of her sons became a police officer and realized that he had nothing to give the kids when there's a family crisis and the police are called and the kids are, always suffering. The kids always
Right,
suffer.
they get the brunt of it, always.
Yeah, so she came up with this idea of having a child-sized blanket in a brand new Beanie Baby in a bag. So we adopted that program and kind of thought like, this is a way that we can give back to the community because all of us have utilized the police, you know what I mean?
Always.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and not only that, a lot of us have children that were affected by the situations where the cops showed up at the house. So to give these blankets to the 4th precinct just feels like
Yeah.
amazing
I
because
just dropped
That's-
them off in Crystal like 2 weeks
That's
ago,
really
and
cool.
they were very
Yeah.
grateful. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that's so nice.
I
Yeah,
wanted the
that's
public
great.
to hear
so
this too,
cool.
and then
Yeah.
like the socks.
Jinx Nathaniel.
What do you
by
do
the
with
way.
socks, Paul?
oh, the
Man,
socks.
I want.
I
These
love
are
this-
things I want the audience to hear
I
about. you
love
guys.
the sock gig. I've been bringing. I buy them out of my own pocket. The socks. I go to Sam's Club or Target, and I buy nice socks for the guys at Eden House, RS Eden. I'm a graduate of RS Eden. That place peeled my head to the white part, saved my life.
It's a transitional
It's
type.
a behavior modification treatment place,
Okay.
long term, and anyhow, I've been bringing socks in there for guys for like 9 years.
fresh pair of nice new
and
socks.
I bring them in the 24-hour a day meditation book, and I've bought in about 344 of them. I have them marked on a chalkboard at home.
The just for today's.
Just for today.
Yeah.
No, the 24 hours
The
a day.
24 meditation
Yeah,
book.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
yep,
Oh,
yep.
that's sweet.
So I give them a book and a pair of socks, and they just love it. I mean, like I said, in the story, the sock story is, I says, how many times did you have to put on the same old dirty pair of
Oh,
socks,
yeah,
ripping and
yeah.
running, and like, from the hotel room to the couch, and, they damn near put themselves on,
Right.
and it's like, here's one pair of socks, and hopefully, I feel good when I put on a fresh pair of socks. And now I have a sock fetish. I love brand new socks. I wear them all the time. It's a good feeling, just to wiggle your toes and just go, I'm a soldier, man. I'm going to do this today.
Oh, sorry.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to get into the soldier
going
story.
to.
I
Sure,
got a
yeah.
quick, really funny soldier story. Is somebody just last week told me, he says, do you know that you're spelling soldier wrong? And I was like, really? I says, I do that for a reason, because it's SOUL. Jers.
Yeah.
And I just got a kick out of that, like I didn't know how to spell soldier.
Well, let's- you know what?
It's about our souls, man.
Yeah, and I think that's
Yeah.
a great transition. And let's talk about the soldiers, the white flag, about what happens
Right.
when someone comes in.
Oh
the
yeah,
room.
let's
Right.
talk
Your
about the
stuff.
surrender
The
flag.
stuff. You
Yeah.
get your
Yeah.
stuff.
It might
Get
be
your
stuff,
stuff.
but like I
Your
said, the
stuff.
listener, someone who hasn't been there yet, I want them to hear kind of like what that experience is like and what that is.
Carolyn can tell the marble story, and I'll tell you this
Perfect.
the flag
Okay.
story.
And I know you maybe told it once or twice, but
Sure.
this
That
one
was a
counts.
lot.
Yeah, I remember the
know.
day I shared it with Paul. I was telling him the story, so I'll have to be able to tell this without crying, because sometimes I do. And so when I had gotten out of Shakopee and the women's prison, and went to do more research, as they call it, and I ended up in jail on a parole violation. And there were these two old guys that came in the jail. And so the gals, I was in the old jail where it's all like bunk beds all down the line. You didn't have your own little place, it was
Oh,
just
yeah, I remember
cell
jails
blocks,
like that.
Yeah. And so they're like, hey, do you want to go to the meeting tonight? And I'm just like, not really. And I was like, okay, just to get out of this dingy old place. So
Right.
yeah, let's go. So it just so happened that there was an older gentleman by the name of Bill that kind of looked right through me, and I ended up calling him an asshole and all of that. And but he did tell me that, I'll help you get to a meeting if you're ever interested. And so I had gotten out on a Thursday, which I was so shocked they were going to release me. And by Friday night, I had myself convinced I was going to go to Minneapolis to get a bag of clothes. And so I came back with my tail dragging, and I knew they were going to be waiting out on they were going to be smoking in between the men's meeting they brought into the jail and the women's meeting they brought into the jail. So I was like, before I came back to that area, and I was just kind of like, I was just so done with myself. I literally got on my knees and I said, whoever and whatever is out there, either help me stop using or let me die. I just don't want to live
Like a rock bottom situation.
I was just
You're
done with myself. Done. And I was like, where can I go for help? My whole family was just like, no, you ain't coming. No, stay away.
Every bridge burnt. And
Every bridge was burnt. And so I went and waited on the steps of the jail, and Bill and Dave came out, and I told them what happened over the weekend, and they were just like, you are just like the bright sunshine in our day, because, we've heard the story over and over again, being in these jails, but very few people ever come back and ask for help. So the first meeting I got to, he gave me, it was like the welcome part of the meeting, gave me a 24-hour medallion and a marble. And the story of the marble is, to put it in my pocket, and if I were to ever to use again, to take it and throw it as far as I can, and then I lost all my marbles. So and I've carried that same marble, and 24-hour medallion is kind of self-explanatory, that we only have to do this one day at a time.
Just for today.
Yeah, just for today. My sponsor even said to me, sometimes we have to do it 10 minutes at a time.
Exactly.
And, and she just told me 2 weeks ago, maybe you need to go punch a wall, but because I've been going through some grieving process. My mom passed away on December 12th. But
Sorry to hear about that.
yeah, thank you.
We went out and saw her.
Yeah.
Remember on one of the bike rides. Sorry, I
Yeah. Oh,
sidetracked.
yeah.
No, I met your mom.
You did.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did meet my mom. Yeah.
Yeah.
She knew just about everybody in the recovery
Yeah, we were
community
out,
too. Yeah. So, and that's what I did. Like, basically, it was like I threw temper tantrums, I punched walls, I did anything to get through a 1 hour period to
Right.
start on the next 1 hour
Right,
period.
yeah.
It's hard. It's difficult.
Yeah, some of these, and I want people to hear that. It's like you get caught in your head, like, for the rest of my life. No, just today, man. Just today. And like you said, sometimes just get me through to the next minute, just the next minute, because that's sometimes that's all you can that's all you can put up with through is just get me through a few more minutes, And you know what? Before you know it, it's tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
We reach out, you do what you've been taught, and then it's just
Right.
saves our lives.
Yeah. So I've carried that same marble and same 24-hour medallion all these years because I feel like that saved my life.
Right.
And you know what I mean?
And so when someone comes into the rooms, and is it their first, when it's usually a newcomer, you give them that? Or?
Usually they come in, they'll have a 30-day, or I don't know, because
30 days,
maybe
yeah.
it takes them about 30 days for them to start being like, hey, you know what? I want to get my medallion and my stuff or
Right.
my key tag or whatever.
A lot of people stay clean for 30 days just to get it.
Just to get that marble.
I want my marble, man.
Whatever it takes.
I wanted my stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Paul will talk about what stuff is here shortly after.
I still got my stuff.
Good,
that's
good.
good.
My marble's
Wonderful.
in a special place.
Yeah.
My
I don't
little
carry it with
soldier
me
sits on my
because-
TV
Yeah,
still
my
to this
soldier's
day.
in a special place.
Yeah.
I actually, not that long ago, gave away my white flag to someone.
Hey.
It was in this little blue book that I read out of.
Mine's in my book, too. One
Yeah.
of my 24 hours books.
Yeah.
Wow. So
Yeah.
just a little chat about the soldier then and the
Oh, yeah. Then Paul implemented.
and the white flag. As we started with the soldiers, the SOUL jurors. And we just love doing that for fun, man, because you know what? We're in this fight, and it is a fight on a daily basis. So, we incorporate the little toy soldiers. They get them at the dollar store for $1.
Well, what
And-
was it? We couldn't find marbles one night, and we were going to Eden House for the Sunday night meeting. Remember? We couldn't find
Yeah.
marbles, and then you saw that bag of
Oh
soldiers.
yeah, that's how that all started. I
Yeah.
said, listen, so I give them soldiers at Eden House too. But so then and weeks after that, I went to Pizza Luce downtown and asked them for a white cut up apron and started cutting up their white aprons, and so we give them a surrender flag also, and I really like that kind of stuff because it's just stuff, man. Your willingness is going to keep you cleaner than not, and we say that every night. It's just like her marble, 24 years carrying the same marble and 24-hour medallion for 24 years, man. You got to be pretty darn willing to keep tabs on
Damn
that
right.
stuff,
Right.
So the significance of the stuff is really kind of cool, and I just really love incorporating that kind of.
There was a time, I believe it was maybe a few months after I had been going, I think you misplaced your marble in the garden, was it?
Yep, that's a
She
great
was
story.
yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I remember you were so
Yeah.
concerned.
I
No, she
thought
didn't
I
misplace
lost
it in the
my
garden,
coin
she
purse.
lost it.
Yeah, right.
At Holiday. And I was really distraught.
We
I
just
was-
told that story tonight.
Yeah, we did.
Did
That's
you?
Funny,
crazy.
Tim.
Yeah,
I just told him.
just tonight. So I thought that I lost my coin purse at Holiday, and I was just broken up about it. And so I went out and I started working in the garden, and I found a marble in the garden.
Yeah.
And it had a little chip in it, and I'm thinking, wow, this is crazy because we're all a little chipped, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
We're all a
yeah.
little broken in some ways, but, we're working on stuff. We're getting better.
I remember that too because it was like, as guys, it's just like we want to fix that. When she said she lost her marble,
Oh.
I was just like, how am I going to fix this? How, she's all bummed out about, and then she finds the one in the garden. But we did find the same marble at Holiday.
Yeah, I did
So
get my marble
went back
back,
to
and I was
Holiday and it
very,
So you didn't lose your marbles?
It was under the.
Hey, does
I'm
that mean you
moving
have
ice
two
cream
marbles
coolers.
now?
I'm sorry.
Does that mean you have two marbles now?
A chipped marble and the one you found? or-
Yeah, I do.
that-
Yep. The chipped one was the one that came to me when I lost my other one. Just so.
Wow, I didn't realize. I thought the marble that you found in the garden was the one that got lost. I didn't know
No.
the holiday
No.
part.
No.
Yeah.
It was
So-
just last year, this summer.
Yeah.
God's crazy.
But anyhow,
Yeah, I'm like, who puts a marble in their garden? You know what I mean? Here I'm
Right.
digging up all this dirt.
Well,
You know?
was there for
right,
you.
yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely.
You can't make this stuff up.
No,
No.
no, it's wild.
So,
really.
you know, I'd like to back up just a couple minutes back to, because I got to plug R.S. Eden.
Yes.
Yeah, plug 'em.
R.S. Eden House, man, where I graduated from. I'll tell you, the place is, it's not for everybody, as I say, too. You know?
I've heard
But-
stories.
Yes, me
Yeah,
too.
they humbled me. You know, I went there 30 years ago when it was way off the charts and whack. And you know, after that high-speed chase, I went to I walked into Eden House in a walker and was like, you know, this is what I need. And they was like, you're kidding me. You know, and that place saved my life, man, because it's a very humbling experience. It's where this all started and where it's all come from, man, is just that the place was a very humbling experience.
Right.
And I just wanted to let you guys know that Eden House ain't what it's cracked up to be, man. It's about what you make of it.
Right.
And I
That's-
went in there
yes.
with my tail between my legs and said, I just want a total change of lifestyle. I don't want to just get off drugs and alcohol. You know, it's a total change of lifestyle, and I just had to plug them guys.
Right.
'Cause I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for them.
When I've
Like
got
I
friends
said,
who
yeah.
they were coming from prison and to get out without they got out of those soon, and that was an option. You can go there, but if you wanted it,
Right.
it was there. If you want something different,
I have a friend in the
exactly.
room right now who's working on the boards who went there, and how he explained it to me. I'm talking about Matt, our producer, and
Would you
how
like
how he explained it to me is this is the last stop before you go to
Yeah,
prison.
absolutely.
This is Matt's coming to the mic right now, even though he has a mic over there. But Tim, please don't break anything while you step in the producer booth.
Yeah, today, you know, I'm grateful for R.S. Eden. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to graduate. My choices, the lifestyle I was living, I ultimately went to prison. But like Paul said, that place humbled me, gave me better perspective of where my life was and the choices and the thinking that I was doing.
There you go.
That's where a lot of my problems was with my own thinking. I was getting in my own way.
Right.
That place taught me new ways to change my thinking patterns. Holding myself accountable along with the people around me accountable. I remember one time at the Sunday meeting, Paul came in discussing. You mind if I share, Paul, a story?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
And this really sank in. Is he came in saying that the guys at the house were, you know, messing off, doing whatever, and Paul's like, you know, I've had enough of this. You know, what they have is a logging accountability thing where if you see somebody breaking the rules, you are supposed to write it down. It gets dealt with twice a week there.
Yeah.
They hold you very accountable. And Paul came in saying, you know, if you mess around, this is my life. This is something that I want. And if you're coming in here messing around, doing things that are inappropriate, behaviors that, you know, our old lifestyle represents,
Right.
I'm going to hold you accountable. And at that point, I was like, you know, I let my life get so carried away. I let people around me treat other people horribly with nobody doing anything about it. You know, so that gave me, like, you know, the idea that, you know, like, the people around me just weren't healthy for me. I wasn't healthy for myself. I wasn't healthy for my family. I wasn't healthy for my kids, my wife at the time, everybody around me. That night was like probably almost like a God experience. You know, somebody came to me and told me exactly what I needed to hear at that time, because I went in there the same way I went into every treatment facility. Oh, I'm just going to do this for probation, for parole, for whatever the case may be. And I was still at that when I first got in there. It was that night that Paul came in that it dawned on me, like, hey, if I'm not doing this for myself, I'm not doing it for anybody else. It's what it is. I am grateful today to have been at R.S. Eden.
Right on.
It is a tough program, but Pam, the director at the time, she was tough as nails, but she treated everybody exactly the same, and she
Exactly.
told you exactly what you needed to hear. Not necessarily what you wanted to hear, but she told you the truth, and she told you what she saw you doing and held you accountable. And I don't believe she's there anymore. I've stopped in there since I've gotten out of prison to speak to a
She's
couple of my
not there
counselors.
anymore.
Yeah. But she was a lovely lady at the same time as hard as nails. I have utmost respect for RS Eden, for Pam, for the program they got there. I mean, if you really want recovery and you want to learn about yourself and the possible patterns that you've lived with most of your life, at least for me, I highly recommend RS Eden. It's a
Right on.
life-changing experience.
Before you and Tim switch back, I want to share something that I know just to highlight, because Paul and Carolyn do a lot of stuff for people that they don't get credit for, too. What you didn't have a ride before, so
That's what I was gonna
you didn't
say.
have a ride, and who gave you a ride?
It was
Oh,
actually
I remember that day well. I'll be right out. I'll be right out. I don't think so.
I remember him calling me saying that this guy ain't coming back.
That's a great story though. That was a great story.
When I was at RS Eden, my ride failed me. I had court. It was sentencing. I needed a ride out to Elk River, and I happened to be at Will Work for Recovery. My wife at the time recommended that I ask people around at Will Work for Recovery, and I happened to ask Paul for a ride. And he was more than willing to drive me all the way from Minneapolis early in the morning. I had to be, I think, in Elk River by like 8 in the morning. I asked Paul to give me a ride. He said absolutely. He wasn't able to stick around for court. I was okay with it. I needed to get to court.
I knew better. I've been there, done that. I'll be right out. No, you ain't coming out, dude.
But yeah, Paul 100% didn't hesitate. Was
Right.
willing to give me a ride. I went up to Will Work for Recovery that morning, met up with him, and his partner at work gave me a ride all the way up to Elk River before he had to go to a full day at work.
Right, and in my time in recovery now too, that's been my experience with Paul. I've asked him many a times if he'd do something, like if he'd be a speaker or if he'd do this or this is what we're doing. Absolutely, just let me know. I've never had to cash that in until now.
No,
But
well, thanks.
But like that's just the kind of people Paul and Carolyn are. And for our listeners, I just want you to know that there are people like that out there in the world. If you don't have that experience in recovery, keep searching. Maybe Will Work isn't for you. Maybe 2218 isn't for you.
Exactly.
Right.
But there's somewhere for you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and back then, that was one thing I had really hard time doing is reaching out and asking for help. The minute I found out my ride wasn't coming, I was right to the point of back to that thinking, this isn't going to happen. I'm going to miss sentencing. I'm screwed either way. What's the point of asking? It took a lot of encouragement from people to have that ability to go out and ask for help. I was one of those people that I couldn't ask for help. It was like ego or whatever the case may be. It was, I just couldn't do it. And it showed me that, if you reach out and you share and you explain your struggles, what you're dealing with, there are more than tons of people out there willing to help in the recovery world.
Well, yeah, the saying is, don't be shy. We all got high.
Right.
I just said that tonight too at the meeting.
Sidebar, Matt.
Yes.
I told you that I'd get you in that chair with headphones on at the mic, and
Yes,
you
you
called
did.
me a liar. So once again, I was correct. Me and Matt are very, very competitive. A lot of people think we're brothers, don't they, Matt?
Yeah, except for I look a lot better.
I don't know about all that,
All right, thank you guys.
says the silver fox. Oh, I love you, Matt.
I love you too, bud.
Tim's back with us. He was never not with us, but
No. I was on some funky wireless thing. I was too scared to try and
Oh, you
crash the
right?
show. Yeah, it said bring in some questions. Let's get some questions
Yeah,
going.
I
What
was-
helps you? So Nathaniel asked, what helps you maintain your recovery? Is it meetings, gym, meditation? How about Carolyn? Let's go
Carolyn.
first. That comes in from one of our listeners.
What helps me maintain my recovery every day is I do the things that I was taught from the very beginning. I write a gratitude list every day. Lately, I've been writing a letter to my mother because she just
Yeah.
passed,
Okay.
and that's a process of dealing with the grief and the
Oh, yeah.
feelings, something
Feelings.
that I didn't know how to cope with
Right.
many years ago. And I read my readings every day. I set my intention for the day. Like I've heard Paul use the saying, like, write down some small attainable goals so we can
Oh,
feel
I've
like
heard him
we're-
say that too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
you
that's
push those. That's a great
Yeah.
idea too.
So, there's some parts of both, several books that I'll read just to get my day started. And maintaining my recovery, for me, it was like I had the attitude that I wanted to put all the energy that I did every day getting high into
Right.
doing
Exactly.
Right.
big things in my life.
Right.
And it shows.
Because, yeah,
It shows.
I didn't want the half good dope out there. I wanted the best.
Hell no,
you know?
right? You want this cut? Or
Yeah.
You want the real stuff.
Yeah, right.
And, you
So
know,
why would I want some watered down recovery?
right, and
you
would. I imagine, much like myself, you would go extra lengths to
Oh,
get
oh,
to
yeah.
get the good stuff. We would ridiculous lengths
Oh,
and do
for
crazy
sure.
stuff. So
Yeah.
that's the energy.
Yeah.
I was an uppity
Yeah,
user.
and
I only did
just-
Right.
that stuff.
Right.
Yeah, and you know what they told me? Treat my mind like a bad neighborhood. Don't go there
Right.
alone, Carolyn.
Right, right.
Because
It's
that's
true.
where my thinking, used to go in the toilet. It still does at times. But I know how to get myself out of it now, I'll call my
Absolutely.
sponsor. I'll pray. I do meditate. Meditation is very, very important for me. I mean, it helps me get centered and stay grounded, really,
So, Paul, same question to you. What helps you maintain your recovery? Is it meetings, gym, meditation, etc.?
Man, first and foremost, it's just being God conscious and mindful of my thinking and behavior. As Carolyn said, just the readings, prayer and meditation, maintaining my sobriety. As I was a very resourceful addict, and I'm just as resourceful in recovery.
Uh-huh.
So whatever it takes, they say, are you willing to go to any lengths? And that's just kind of what I do. There's a lot of times I don't want to do this stuff.
Oh, right.
And that's just being honest. There's
Right.
a lot of times I do not want to do this stuff, and I could be doing something different. But like I said, I got high every day and drank for 48 years. So
I myself
just do the same in recovery.
often say I'd rather be playing video games.
Yeah,
We all have our escapes, right? As long as they're healthy and it's not isolating.
And I just try to, practice. Again, major key for me is acceptance, man. Because like I said, when things don't go my way, it's like, I'll tell you real quick. My kid one time we were eating. We were actually at a Peter Himmelman concert.
Yeah.
My oldest son said to me, we were talking about common sense, and he says, Dad, he says, everybody's got common sense. It's just not like yours. And that was really a ding moment for me to look at, not only my, attitude, but everybody else's. Like, listen, we all got one, and we all got common sense, but it's not all the same.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was very cool,
So, do you use the gym a lot? I see you have a workout room there.
Oh, yeah,
Is
yeah.
that part of your recovery? Do you I know like our sponsor works out and tells us
Yeah.
for mental reasons that's a big
he
big
says it's huge for mental health.
That's
what
almost
Rob always
almost
says.
right up
I
there
do.
with working steps for him. So
I do. I work out down there every morning. I haven't in like 3 months. I got kind of like a little shoulder injury going on. That's kind of rough. So, but I do use the gym down there and exercise. I think it's good mentally, physically, and emotionally. I mean, a good sweat is good for you.
Yeah.
And I got to do it just to maintain getting up and moving around.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
spring chicken anymore.
Right,
Gotta get
exactly.
them. Gotta get it. What about
So
you,
it's nice to
Ted?
get
What about
motivated.
you? What about you on that question? What do you do on a daily for your recovery?
Oh man, so I make sure I have me time. It's huge because I didn't always,
I want to know about their me time too.
and
Because
it doesn't always look the same because I do a lot of service work for my recovery and help other people, but it gets draining. I'm my daily base. Now my schedule's differently. Every day I wake up at 6, or Matt wakes me up at 6. I've been getting better about it. At first, he had to wake me up for real, because I like to stay up late,
Right.
and play video games. Because if I don't make time for myself, I will do it anyways because I'm selfish. So if I'm running from 6 in the morning till 11 or midnight or 1 helping people, I'll stay up till 5 playing video games because I want my me time. And then I'll miss work and and it's a bad behavior. So at first I needed Matt's help. It's kind of, and then eventually I got a schedule. And, so I get up at 6, I go to work, and in between there, I'm a sober house manager. So on any given day, it can be fine. Or there can be a guy relapsing, there can be an issue, a fight. I can get calls about new people while at work, and I can have busy days like that. And then, I don't know, 3 to 5 days a week I come up here. I get off of work, I take a shower, I make sure I shower, because the days I don't shower, I feel like crap if I don't shower till I get home. So I feel nice and I get dressed up, and then I come up here and I do service work or go to a meeting. Sometimes that happens. And I have my other days. Wednesday I go to Will Work, and Thursday I go to a secret meeting place that I'm not sharing with anyone. If you know, you know. If you don't,
Oh,
sorry.
I'll know. I'll figure it out. I'm winking at him.
As you're the one who comes and gets me.
I know. So Paul, I'm sorry.
Oh,
I didn't mean
yeah.
to cut you off.
And then, I'd be helpful. I'd be helpful where Tad can be helpful. And in between there, like before I leave my room, I pray. And then when I get home, I pray. And when I don't do this, my life gets crazy.
Really?
Because I'm about me. Even in helping people, I get about, because as I do more things that aren't about myself, I want to get back to me. I'm rushing. You've noticed the days that I've not prayed when I'm crabby with you, because I want to get home.
I didn't know that about the praying, because
Yeah,
now you know what's going to be asked of you when you act like that.
Well, yeah.
And that's good to know, though.
Yeah, and because then I call my girlfriend and we talk for about an hour, and I play video games, and that's the end of my night. But before I do all that, I also spend 15 minutes with my cat, the house cat. So I do that.
Therapeutic.
Yeah,
That's good, though. What me time? I just wanted, because I know you guys are so busy, and I know Monday, Wednesday, Friday you're at the club. Do you guys schedule something for, like, all right, we need to unwind, or and not getting into just your personal life, but with the whole recovery thing and how involved you guys are with recovery?
How did you get out of that question?
Oh, because we got into the me time, and I was curious.
We'll
They're so
segue
busy.
back into me time. You can.
What do I do for my recovery on a daily?
Yeah.
Everything the old timers taught me. So now I'm joking.
Wow,
I'm joking.
cop out Timmy
No,
today.
I didn't know. I didn't know. My life had become so about me.
Because you help a lot of. You run around a lot.
My
too.
life had become so much about me near the end of my use. I knew nothing else. The world revolved around Tim. Everyone needed to know what Tim was thinking or about to say. In my head. That's what this addict brain was telling me. So when I got into recovery, I didn't know what to do. That's why a blanket statement, the old timers, you guys, people that had more time than me, that seemed happy in the program, I listened to them. And what I've taken away from it now is, don't be left alone too long with my own thoughts. Reach out to other fellow people in recovery that I feel are doing the deal. You know what I mean, doing the deal. The ones that can sit and give you a straight, honest answer about what they're doing for their recovery. And they're out there happy. They're out there making moves in recovery.
No one has a bigger imagination than an addict by himself with something that didn't happen.
Yeah. That whole mountain out of a molehill, like I'm calling my sponsor almost daily, and that's what it ends up telling me. Tim, you're making a mountain out of it. It's nothing. Get out of your head.
Tim, so the first show, I'm going to get into this.
Go for it. Yeah.
We try not to say people's last name. We try to have anonymity so that people do not be like, oh, there's Tim and Tad, and they're scared to talk around us because we're going to be like, oh.
I just talked to blow Johnny and give out their names. Yeah.
And we gave Will Work a shout out on the first show, and he called Paul by his first and last name. And all I said to Tim is like, hey, man, this is important. We're trying to keep him traditions. We're trying not to do that. Yes, just please call Paul. Like, I know he's not going to care. Please call. I didn't talk to him for a day.
Oh,
Do you want?
boy.
Do you want it?
My, you know that there you
Dad,
go.
I know you want to fire me. I know you replaced
my
me.
head
already.
here
Oh
it
my-
goes. By the time even until I talked to Paul, I think I reached out to you. It was early, like 6, 7 in the morning. I was on it. Like by the time
Saturdays I sleep till 3. So when I woke up, I
Yeah,
had 6
oh.
missed messages from Tim. I think I was in the hospital. Then I had fired him as a friend. I had
Oh
fired him
yeah,
as a
that's
wow.
that's my addict brain. I had this whole story like until I talked to you, and then I talked to you like, all right, it's all good, but then I couldn't get a hold of Tad because my goal was
called
all right,
my sister. My sister called
everyone.
my mom.
I sent
my
out
sister's
the
like, I bet
yeah.
he's sleeping Saturdays.
Because the guy sleeps in on a Saturday. I didn't know. It was their
Wait,
first
did I get
show.
to sleep in?
Yeah, so you want to talk about getting stuck in your own thoughts? Holy shit!
I'm all
I
jacked
was,
up after this show.
yeah. So
I
he's up
remember
till 5 in
getting
the
the text,
morning,
and it was
and
no big deal.
yeah, that's what he said too. I was just like, all right, so that was some weight off my shoulders. I'm like, all right, sweet. I know the main problem is fine, but then that's from 7 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon. I don't hear from my co-host, and I'm like, shit, he fired me. Oh, I bet he already has someone in my new position. And I'm pumped. This show this is my Will Work for Recovery. I'm so jacked about this show. Like, the more people we can reach, and last week we had left and right. You know, I'm struggling.
Excuse
People
me. Oh
reaching
my
out. Bless
gosh.
you.
I was gonna
Like-
mess with you too, Timmy, but my sister was like, I
I'm
called
still
Tara
laughing.
first because my mom called. I'm like, holy, I said, what the hell? And then she told me, and she's like, don't mess with Timmy. Like he's really in his. Just call him
Well, I
and
was
tell him
gonna-
you're okay and talk to him.
That's how our heads go. Because, yeah, I'm fired. And then Tad's also either relapsed, overdosed, and died, or he's in the hospital, or if I, committed suicide. My head goes there. If I let it go
All because
free,
he broke your anonymity, Paul.
all
Well,
because,
you know what they say: 90% of the stuff we worry about never happens.
No, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, you
And
know.
these are those little, and I want to bring that up too, because these are the things I get so many of those sayings from Paul. But Paul, I think it was about 3 weeks ago at a meeting, because I really preach, if your recovery doesn't come first, everything
you
else
love
you
is
love
coming
comes
last.
last. And
Oh,
that's
man.
why your name came up. I said, and that's a quote from Paul Birch
Man.
from Will Work from Recovery, who's going to be, and that's where it came from. But that type of thing, like you brought it up
You
a
get
few weeks
quoted
ago.
now, Paul.
Yeah,
Well,
but he
I've
said
become
it.
a saying junkie. I mean, that stuff. It's a simple program for complicated
Yeah.
people, man. And all them sayings. And I remember, early in recovery, all them sayings was just like whack. Well, whatever.
keep
And
coming
now, man,
back.
they're just simple facts,
Yeah.
man.
Well, and you said this. This is what, and it stuck out to me. It was like 3 weeks ago on a Wednesday night meeting. You shared. We do the introductions of a meeting for people that don't know, and then everyone takes a little time sharing. And you said, you guys hear me say these things, but it more like 90% of these things, I'm regurgitating it from someone like you guys in the meetings
Yeah.
that shared it. Like I pick up, he's like, it might be someone who comes in with 4 days clean.
Yeah.
Coming in off a relapse, someone who's still probably half high that's on day number 2 or something, and they say some profound shit, and I get to use, like, he's saying these things, like every saying I got, I picked most of that up from someone who shared before me.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
Likewise,
That's, yeah, all of us. I heard something a week ago from this young man at the center. He said, my mind is like a parachute. It doesn't work unless if it's open.
Yeah, right.
I was
That's-
just like,
right.
whoa.
That's cool.
Wow.
I love it.
Wow, that's a mic drop saying right
Yeah,
there.
Right.
it is. Yeah.
That's like kid just said it, and now I've been using it all the time. We are quick. We
That was said last week, right?
Yes, it's so easy. We are quick to it's hard. We're slow at remembering things, but quick at forgetting things. Basically,
No, I know. He's not a slow learner, but he's a fast forgetter.
forgetter.
That's
Yeah.
what it was. Yeah.
Yes, that I was like,
Yeah, that was pretty
how
cool.
true is that? And,
Yeah.
and just as
It
simple
is.
as names. In recovery, you're meeting so many people, and
And that, my friend right there, was a great example of addicts together.
yeah, we figured it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got it figured out.
That's how
Carolyn
recovery
carried
works.
me.
If you,
I love those ding ding moments.
Right.
Right.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so glad we were able to really get into Will Work. That was the goal.
that's what I thought the goal was. I really want, some people probably that go to Will Work never heard some of that.
No,
before.
I
Oh, no.
I go to
Yeah.
Will Work and I
No.
never heard some of that.
Yeah, I never
No.
knew the
For 3
story of
years.
how it is.
No.
No.
I want to talk about one more thing you guys do. Hi, Cheryl.
Hi.
Cheryl Larson says
Hi,
hi.
Cheryl.
Oh, Cheryl checking in.
Cheryl from the board. I dropped your last name. I'm sorry, Cheryl. But yeah, she's one of our lovely board members.
It's his turn now.
So
He's
at
gonna
the
go
end-
for the next day.
At the end of every meeting, everybody has a voice.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Everybody's got a voice. It's ballot's important.
I haven't
Can
heard
you
that
guys
anywhere else. so
explain?
yes.
Yeah, can you guys explain that? Talk about that and tell me where that came from because that is freaking cool.
Yes.
Well, can I own that? I mean, I kind of came up with it. It's because everybody does have a voice. It's valid. It's important. And it's just that simple. Again, it's a simple program with complicated people. There's no dissecting it. It's just, it's true. You know.
And you
everybody's-
implement that when
Yeah.
during the where does that come into play for you? When do you usually say that?
At the end of the meeting
When
and
there's
at
what,
the beginning
like-
of the meeting.
Right. So
Yeah.
at the end of a meeting at Will Work, when there's like tonight about 100 people there. What I mean, maybe not 100. Just what I'm getting at is
Bacon.
there's a lot of people there, and you know,
There's a lot of people
Okay,
there. It's
and-
about bacon.
you're right.
Good answer.
So not everyone, not everyone shares, and a lot of people don't want to, and I think there's so much more value to you doing that because there's so many
yeah.
people there. Some people never speak up.
Right.
That's what I want you to like. There's such a therapeutic value to doing that.
I got to tell you, and I'll tell you what, it's like a 50-50 gig that some people like it and some people don't. But at the end of the meeting, when everybody's ready to go home, they want to put on their coats, they're looking at the clock and they want to go, as we do. Everybody's got a voice. It's valid. It's important. We go around the room, introduce yourself, and tell us what your favorite cereal is. And that's just because, listen, man, if you're going to come out of the house for an hour or you're going to sit around, you're going to share. And I say that, everybody shares there. Every single person shares there, whether it be, Cocoa Puffs or bacon.
Bacon.
Right.
Bacon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a personal
know.
story for me was, in early recovery when I went to Will Work, some of my first meetings, it gave me a sense of not responsibility, but of joy and like people are going to hear me to
Yeah.
tell you guys what and I got all excited. Like, what's your favorite song?
Yeah.
Or it was something.
We
It's
do
like that
something, yeah.
favorite cartoon character,
Yeah.
anything, and
So-
you wait, and all of a sudden,
Yeah.
Morty
Yeah,
or Rick
exactly.
Sanchez, like you finally.
Yeah.
Very good point, and that's exactly what I see when I'm doing. Is that whether it be your favorite color, bacon, cereal, or whatever, but you wait for that
Yes.
moment. You get to say something.
And you get to own
And I'll
it,
tell you
too.
what, man, it validates you, and that. You can't wait to do it again, but you can't, stand on that and say
Full
that.
disclosure?
But you can't wait to do
Yeah,
that again.
full disclosure.
Full disclosure,
Yeah,
buzzer
no,
beaters.
it's great.
And
It's
it
a
breaks the
ripoff
ice.
of- That's where I got the idea for buzzer beaters.
We
was-
kind of take a
was
little page
everybody-
out of
at
your
the
book.
end, I do buzzer beaters, and everyone answers some random question. It's
We'll
a
do it
fun
tonight.
question. We'll do it. We do it
Okay.
at the end of every show.
Oh, fun.
But I got
Yeah.
that from.
Yeah, well, cool.
Everyone has a voice.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do have to say, the creative part of the organization, the decoration at the center.
Oh my gosh, this
our
place is
logo,
crazy.
Our logo, all of that is Paul.
That
It is-
vision.
that's Paul's
It's
part.
That vision.
You guys
Yeah,
are just
me-
so
The
cool.
only thing I
I'm-
run is my mouth.
Yeah,
But you do it well, brother.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Jess Carlson.
yeah, no, I rack my brain, trying to navigate nonprofits and all the insurance, everything that we need to have to stay open and running.
Right.
She works harder by noon than I do all day.
Yeah.
So I just want to give a quick shout out to everyone listening. And if you have any questions, now is the time because in about 15, 20 minutes, we will be wrapping up with promo of the next show, buzzer beaters, and our gratitude. Something that everyone's grateful. So please get your questions in for Paul and Carolyn, or Tim and myself if you want to. That's always all right.
Right.
I can't see that screen, so.
I know.
It's all right.
I'm
That's
this
why.
close and I'm squinting. So
Right. I got bifocals now because I'm still young.
you're graduating. You're getting
Right.
up there.
Oh man, it is so awesome to have you guys on this show, and I told you it would fly by.
We're about done.
Yeah, it actually did. Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
And that's the goal to our show is just, what? We get to spread things like will work. To me, this is, I've been waiting for we get to share some of the things that are out there for recovery. And you guys, to me, it's pivotal. Pivotal.
My
It's-
long-term goal is to hit more than just the Twin Cities area. Like, I want a podcast network that has recovery shows on 24/7, broadcasting all around the world.
Oh, that's cool.
highlighting stuff.
No, he's got big visions. Dad's
Highlighting
got huge
everything
vision.
that's going on in the world, and
Yeah.
and always having something for someone to listen to call in for, to get like that's what that's my goal.
That's awesome.
Like you
And-
say, we're very resourceful.
Right.
No, and that's, you know what, when I was at New Way in early, you know, the pamphlets with you guys in the and in the background, it's, I think you're standing on maybe Second or Washington or something, in the background it's Twin Cities, and it's the two of you, that pamphlet,
Yeah.
the three-way fold out.
Yeah.
I was posting that up at New Way on their bulletin boards. Wait, you know, kind of low key, didn't want no one to get in trouble, and they're like, "No, it's fine." You know,
It's
like,
okay,
it wasn't
Tim.
you know, my old addict ways, thinking I was sneaking whatever, but that's the type of things that I want everyone to know about. And you guys, and it said
The
a
treatment
resource center.
centers and the other places, they're down with you
Oh,
guys.
yeah.
'cause
No,
you
you
guys
know that.
Well, that's
offer-
good. You know, I've always liked to say too, man, we ain't trying to go against the grain. We're just trying to do something a little different, man. And it's about getting comfortable.
Right.
You know,
Right,
in,
right.
in recovery, because it's one of the hardest things to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Didn't you guys attend here before?
Oh, yeah. I used to
Oh,
do
sure.
Squad 77 here for years, you know.
We
Right.
still support this place,
Yeah.
you know.
Bike,
Of course,
the
we
yearly
do.
bike run, and
Yeah,
This is
all
the
that
first,
stuff, you know.
First, you know, evidence of recovery as a whole in the state of Minnesota. You know,
Right.
this the founding father
so-
here.
right, it's
Oh,
the
yeah, oh,
longest
yeah.
running in the world, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
continuous running
Yeah.
animal society in
Right.
the world, and
Right here.
you know that we know of. It's the first one with the podcast. That might not be true.
Well,
but-
we'll just own it until
but,
we
you
find
know,
out different.
Yeah.
You know
It's the
how
first
us
one with
addicts
the
do.
Tim and Tad attitude for gratitude.
100%.
Yeah,
First
yeah.
in the world ever
Yeah.
in history.
Yeah, yeah,
I know that.
yeah.
Right.
So yeah, I was. Gosh, what else did I want to add? Oh, I just wanted to say, you know, this past year with COVID has been so difficult. I just looked in
man.
the memories. We had a spaghetti dinner this week, like our annual spaghetti dinner, and how we used
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah.
What
So,
did we do?
are
We
we
threw
just-
a party for everything,
Yeah.
didn't we?
When-
For
yeah.
every reason. A
When
chili-
COVID's over, are we just gonna have like dinner every week, every day for
Every
like a
night,
month?
just to catch up.
Like,
Well, and
Like
like the
just-
spaghetti dinner and stuff. Like the thing is that the center is there's a big room, but they're able to spread out with this COVID and being careful, this and that, with having a potluck with the plastic gloves, the face mask, everything is, and that's the thing. When I go down there and there is coffee, this and that, we have gloves, we have face masks, everything is safe. There's Perel bottles everywhere. It's I don't want to say in accordance because there really isn't any accordance that we have to abide by, but you guys go above and beyond with all that safety measures on all that, and that's another thing. I feel safe about going there.
Well, yeah, because we realized, you know, we did shut down for a few months. We didn't know what was going on,
Right,
but
right.
then all of a sudden, these young people are dying.
90,000
You know?
since March.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the part they
90,000.
don't. Well,
And-
they just recently, but that's the part they didn't talk about. And a lot, suicides tripled and like overdoses doubled or tripled.
Yeah.
It's
I
I mean,
sad.
we can't afford to be separated from
Nope.
each other, you know?
And
It just,
I love that about you guys. That you guys, once you found that out, you were like, "Yep,
We're open."
open
yeah,
back." And
no COVID is going to
Do you
somebody
think my
who's
dick-
dying
this
Do you
of
think
it.
my
building-
addiction cares about
Right,
COVID?
right, right.
Yeah, no,
my
it
addiction doesn't
doesn't.
give a
This
shit about
I
building
think I
is
COVID.
shot some of that
open.
stuff before.
and that, you know,
Yeah, that's why we're immune to it now.
Yeah, this
Whoa.
building stayed open because of that for the same purposes, and that was one of the things. And in the beginning, there wasn't a lot of people volunteering up here. There were some of
No,
us
it was
putting in
scarce.
60 hours. I was fortunately blessed to have just graduated treatment and be able to be. I had saved up credit as being a sober house manager and being in treatment to where I didn't have to pay rent for like 3 months. So I was able to volunteer here 60
Right.
hours a week
Oh, nice.
in the beginning, but
Yeah.
you know, and that's
When
what
I
we
speak-
have to
yes,
do. People
yeah.
like you, other people in this room. Matt was up here with me a lot
Right.
too in the beginning because I needed him. Because
Well, and I always talk about that. It's like I'll forever have a debt to places like this, and we'll work for recovery just for the simple fact of being there for me.
like I've said before, you know, Cheryl Larson is one of those people who she went to bat for
Yeah,
the
she
recovery
did.
community with the government.
Right.
She fought
Yeah.
tooth and nail. And as a result of that,
Yeah.
Minnesota now has a thing to where 12-step meetings get to happen, even during the lockdown. And that's not the case in other states.
No.
Some states, there are places that haven't had meetings
Yeah, I was
since
on
March, since the beginning of
Yeah.
this.
I was just on with the
my
Zoom meeting in
gosh.
San
Yeah,
Francisco.
right. They
Nothing.
don't have live
Nothing.
meetings.
Yeah.
And I pray for them, and it's awful. But we have live meetings here in Minnesota at Will Work and 2218.
Live is game.
Come take
live.
Take a quarantine road trip and come see us.
Yeah. The last thing we need to be is isolated from
Yeah.
each other, and myself as well. I was told to make contact with someone in the program every single day.
Right.
And and then it just becomes a
Not
part of my-
everyone has a cell phone or a laptop,
Yeah.
especially when you first come into the room.
Oh yeah,
Right.
when you're coming in off
Right.
that great winning streak. I'm being
There's a whole lot of
sarcastic.
stuff
Yeah,
going on.
right.
Right. No, you're just building your life and foundation back again.
And
Yeah.
you don't make, for me, like, you don't make the same rapport.
No.
I don't get the same feeling.
Right.
You don't get hugs either if you're not on a live meeting.
on Zoom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You know what? And it might work for some. Whatever. Like
You
we,
know,
we
if it
talk
works
about-
for you, if it
my-
works for you, that's
yeah.
cool.
The way I do recovery may kill you.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
my
I say
path
that
I
stuff,
take may
yeah.
kill you, but yours may kill me. But I've found a way that works, and the way that works for me is sitting next to another addict, another person in recovery.
Right. This was a great show.
Oh,
I'm
hell
not
yeah.
even sure if
this
there's
is-
a
this-
right way or a wrong way
No.
to do this. Like
No.
you say, you just got to do it.
You got to do
Every-
it.
everyone's
and
journey
you
is
got to stay
different.
willing. I mean,
Yeah,
there's no
willing,
right way or wrong way
yeah.
to do this. I mean,
Open-mindedness, willingness,
You know,
honesty. There's
I
those
think-
key words.
Yeah.
Right.
I think I said at the beginning, you do the steps, you practice the principles in all your affairs.
All your affairs.
All your
and you
To the
got to
best of our
remember, too,
abilities
that's
daily.
where I sometimes, I just forget, it takes me a minute to catch my breath, and then it's back into what
Well,
you taught me.
And I think if there's any people listening back that are new to the program, although we do try to practice these principles in all our affairs, we're not saints. We're not perfect.
Absolutely not.
I'm not bad in 1,000. None of us at this table in this
No.
room are bad in 1,000. If we're lucky, we're batting 100. Yeah.
But practicing those principles get us closer and closer.
Gets
as
us
time,
closer.
You know,
It's a daily
starts
reprieve.
becoming a habit.
Yeah.
You know?
The principles are a great thing to, kind of, set your behavior towards and keep mindful. But I mean, there's other paths to recovery. There's
Oh, yeah.
smart recovery. There's
Yeah.
Quest 360.
Exactly.
There's
Yes.
Celebrate
That
Recovery.
meditation
There's,
one.
yeah.
Hope dealers,
there's
JP,
Buddhist.
yeah.
Yeah.
Buddhist meditation.
Buddhist meditation.
It's got a name,
I
though.
can't remember what
What
that's
that
called
tried
TIZ,
either.
or there's a 3-letter,
No, it's mindful recovery.
Mindful recovery. Yeah, I believe they meet at the Lake Harriet or whatever.
They have a
but
couple.
Yeah.
There's
So
tons
I
of
mean,
options
there's
out
a
there.
lot of paths to recovery.
And
know?
that's one of the things I did when I first got in recovery. I checked as much stuff as I could out recovery stuff.
Right.
I didn't know if they had a refuge for recovery. That's what it's
Refuge
called.
for recovery.
Thanks,
Yep.
Nathaniel.
Yep.
And
thanks, Nathaniel. What is that, Sid?
Recovery Dharma,
yep,
an offshoot of Refuge Recovery.
recovery dharma is an
Yeah.
offshoot.
Yeah.
And thank you, Aaron, for being grateful, and thank you everyone for listening. I mean, and that's the thing. Come check it out. Like when there's not COVID, we had karaoke, we had
Yeah.
game night
Oh,
here.
dances. I was telling
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, and like you never know. Like I would do a sober pole vaulting competition, even though I've never done that, but I would try it because
Lengthy
I don't know if I'm gonna like it. You know, I don't know if I'm gonna like it.
It's getting outside
I'll
yourself.
sign up.
You know,
Right.
just doing something that's not in the norm.
I might get
and
hurt,
healthy.
but you never know. So just get out of your comfort zone, and that's one of the cool.
Right.
Because everything I've said yes to, there have been like maybe one or two things that I didn't like, and that's because I'm a poor sport.
Right, of course. So before we get into our wrap up, what I just want to, my little recap on this is what I want to really let our audience know is, for me, recovery, it's got to be fun.
Oh, yeah.
Will Work
Oh,
for
yeah.
Recovery was the biggest monumental aspect of fun for me coming to those rooms in early recovery. I'm dead serious. I saw fun. I saw a group of guys motorcycling. I mean, well, you guys had a fire thrower in your parking lot. I mean, remember what's his name's daughter was doing the twist?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
some of the
yeah.
funnest
Right.
things. They got a little pet dog, a
Mini
little mascot dog
motorcycles.
running around.
Yep,
Do not
yep,
feed
yep.
the dog. But
Petey
Petey the dog. I mean, I was taken in, like, to you
Mine's
guys,
Fs.
I might have been just another guy, but in my eyes, it was, you guys took me and I got to help. I helped tow a motorcycle. To me, that was important.
Yeah.
You guys gave me a purpose.
Well, it's nice to hear that
It-
stuff.
and
you know, that's
I'm not
great.
the only one, guys. I'm really not.
Right.
I'm not.
Boy, how did we skip over go-karting?
Oh, go-kart.
Remember
Oh,
go-kart?
yeah, that was
that
a
was,
laugh.
that
How
was
many-
the event of a lifetime. That was
Oh,
great.
I remember
get
hearing
down there.
about that.
Yeah, I didn't get to make it.
Yeah, we tried going again, but they raised the prices.
Yeah,
and to
that's-
be honest with you guys, again too, it's like we're all on the same playing field. It just there were a lot of people couldn't afford it, so
Right,
we
yeah.
just kind of went, well, we'll find it.
Was it a one and done deal, or you guys got to go a few times, or?
We went once, and then we tried to schedule it again, but they raised the price.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's
Yeah,
just started getting
it's
too
expensive.
too expensive for everybody,
Right.
and so we just kind of said, well,
And they
we're
have a
gonna-
White Castle thing. Or you guys can't do that. or
Oh,
you're
yeah,
doing that.
the White Castle thing. Yeah,
Right.
we did an event at White Castle.
Yeah, that was
was
fun too.
awesome.
The
Yeah,
White Castle
yeah.
gig, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you want me to do it on here?
What's up?
So, what? The date? Not next Saturday, but the Saturday. Matt, on the 23rd, Matt and myself, Tim can't make it because he has plans, but we're going out to Buck Hill to go tubing.
Oh,
and-
tubing. There
Yeah,
you go.
and we want to invite everyone listening. Now it might be crazy and sell out, but you know,
2:30 to 4:30.
2:30 to 4:30, we're gonna be out there tubing. So come on out. If you see myself or Matt, if you don't know Matt, Matt, can I break your anonymity? His name's Matthew Slavic. You can look him up on Facebook. I'm Tad Ackerman. If you see us and you have ideas for the show, that is what's up. We're gonna be out tubing and there's gonna be a whole bunch of us. So come on,
Awesome.
come out. You know, it's $20. I'm not saying I'm gonna pay for everyone who doesn't have it, but you know, I'll probably be able to pay for a couple people if they can't afford it. Matt will help some people, and that's kind of what we do. That's the deal.
Man.
Reservations are online at Buck Hill.
Well, we really appreciate you guys having us. I mean,
Yeah,
it was good
thank you.
fun. This stuff is important, man. You know,
Absolutely.
it's great thing you're doing, man.
Tim, you want to cut the promo for 2218 quick before we get into our gratefuls and
A wrap up.
Our wrap up, yeah.
Well, just to the audience and future listeners, just let you know that if you do want to donate, there's links that'll be put up, as well as finding us through the Facebook pages and the website alone. If you want to give to 2218, please do. I appreciate you.
Right on.
Absolutely, and check out Will Work
And
for
Will Work,
Recovery
yes.
too. You
We'll
can
work for recovery on Facebook. Like us, love us, share it, spread it, embrace it.
smash that like, smash all the
Smash
like
that
button.
like button.
Oh, we got Paul to say
Paul's
it.
saying
Paul's
it.
is he the first guest to say it?
He is the first guest to say smash that like
Oh,
button.
he's gonna be
Smash
using
that love button.
I like the care button. That's
care
my favorite.
button.
Yeah. All right. So, you know what time it is, everybody?
Bring
it is
it on.
time to tell us what you're grateful for.
All right.
Oh,
Matt,
wow, man.
Matt, you want to go first? And Matt can walk around with the microphone now, right?
Yes.
And get to other people.
Yeah.
All right. Well, today, once like before, I'm grateful for God of my understanding. Without Him, none of this is possible. I'm also grateful for family. Taking one from Tim there, I beat you to it. And friends. Got news this week that there's another addition to the family. So I'm
Congrats,
grateful for that.
Matt.
Yeah, right
It
on.
was so hard for me to not say that on air and spoil
Yeah,
it.
I know.
I'm not going to break the anonymity of the person that it's with, but it's somebody in recovery for multiple years too. So I'm grateful for
Big Papa.
being with somebody healthy and happy herself, and just life in general. I mean, it's going great. I can't
Yeah,
complain.
right
I
on.
got a job. I get to go to work. I get paid. I can pay my bills. Getting a vehicle next week, so things are going great.
Sid.
Hey, it's Sydney. I'm an alcoholic.
Sydney.
I'm grateful that I have everything that I need in my life right now.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of stuff that I want, because I don't want a bunch of stuff that I don't need anymore.
That's gold.
Yeah.
So, like, most of my life, I felt like I don't have all the stuff that I want because I thought I needed all this stuff that I don't need anymore. And now I can just really be grateful for everything in my life. And I have so much more than I really feel like, I don't know, even more than I earned, you know, because a lot of it I just have to give up to my higher power. And
God is good.
like, I can't even take credit for how great my life is now.
Right.
Boom.
Thank you, Sid.
Yeah, right on.
Thank you, Sid.
Bringing it around.
Miss you too, Candy.
Introduce yourself. Let us know what you're
My
grateful
name's
for.
Aaron. I'm an addict.
Aaron!
Aaron?
I'm grateful for God. I'm also grateful for Tad and Matt for accepting me back into the sober house with open arms after I relapsed. For
That's
not
what we
judging
do.
me. I'm also grateful for Will Work because it's such a great atmosphere. I love the meetings there. They're great people. I'm grateful for 2218. I'm just grateful for the meetings that are still going.
Right on.
Yeah.
I'm grateful that I'm sober today and that I can think clearly and
Right. That's huge.
it's just blessing after blessing when you step back into recovery because life is so much better and so much more kind than when you're using.
Right.
I recently now I'm going through divorce and everything else because of my relapse, but I'm just thankful today that I was being able to be a part of the podcast here. It's awesome. So thank you guys very much and
Thanks
keep
for being
listening.
here.
It's a great meeting.
Yeah.
Great podcast.
Thanks for being here, brother.
Love you, Aaron, and I'm proud of
Now
you.
it's Elena,
Smash that like button.
who just recently celebrated 2 years of sobriety.
Yeah, Elena celebrated 2 years. Woo!
Oh, Ricky Flair.
Elena. Yeah.
What are you grateful for there, little Miss Elena? And
I said the F. Good
first
thing I'm
one of the
not at
day.
work.
No, I snuck one in.
Oh,
I'm grateful today for staying sober today, and I'm grateful for my kids. Today's been an amazing day. Everybody knows I got 2 wonderful teenagers, and my 18-year-old did her first adult thing today and purchased her very first car. So, and if I wouldn't have raised them the way that I did and taught them the things that I've taught them that I wasn't able to do when I was using, she probably wouldn't be where she's at right now.
Right.
So I'm very grateful for all of the changes that I've made and continue to make every day in this program.
Right on.
thank you and
Absolutely.
congratulations
And
again.
Cheryl types from the board that she is grateful for all the amazing people who surround us in recovery and make it possible. Me too,
Yeah.
Cheryl.
Thank you for
Yeah.
checking in, Cheryl.
Paul, what are you grateful for today?
Man, I'm grateful for Carolyn cracking my head all the time and holding me accountable. Believe it or not, I truly am. I need help. I'm grateful for my willingness. I'm grateful to God. There's just so much that I'm grateful for. I could go on. I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory, man. I'm grateful for recovery. God, I'm grateful I got my little puppy Petey running around the house too.
Oh, yeah.
He
Mr.
holds me
Petey.
accountable too, man, when he's hungry.
Right? Right. Hey, it could be as simple as that,
Yeah, it is, man. I'm grateful for a lot of stuff that I didn't even know what grateful was, so I'm grateful for that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Carolyn, what are you grateful for today?
Well, my name is Carolyn. I'm a recovering drug addict and alcoholic.
Bam!
I am grateful for sobriety. I'm grateful for my freedom. I'm grateful
Freedom.
for a warm home. I'm grateful for Paul and Petey. I'm grateful for just food in the refrigerator for so many things, I'm grateful
Yeah.
that I have self-respect today.
Right.
Yeah, and love in my heart to share with others.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Tad, what are you grateful for
You
tonight?
keep beating me. I used to always beat you, but
Oh,
So-
get off it.
I'm grateful for my friends, my family. I'm grateful for 2218 and all the things I get to do here. Some of them fun, some of them more responsible adultish. And I'm grateful I get to do responsible adultish shit because I didn't used to. Nobody was relying on me for anything before other than to steal something or give them some drugs or commit a crime. And that's, I just don't have to live that way. And I'm grateful for that.
Right.
But what I'm
Amen.
really grateful for tonight is something small. So I was in a meeting, and normally I sit up at the front, or I'll even come on the stage if I'm late, and I was doing stuff. But when I walked in, I decided for some reason to walk around to the back of the meeting and go all the way to the back where that black chair is. And a friend of mine was sitting there with his service dog, which he doesn't normally bring here. So I went and attended the meeting all the way in the back, and I got to play with the puppy during the meeting, and it was pretty cool.
Hey,
Nice.
Right on.
gives you a
Very
nice little
nice.
peace of mind, too.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, and I got some cool conversations with my friend too out of it.
Awesome.
Timmy,
Yeah.
what are you grateful for?
Well, first and foremost, I'm so grateful for family. I told you I'm a broken record with this one. My family is dealing with life on life's terms, and we do what we can do. I get to be there for them. I get to be present. I've got a mother and a father who love me to death, and they're there for me 100% of the time. I won't go in too deep on that. I'm grateful to learn more about Will Work for Recovery tonight. There's a lot that I learned I didn't know about. I'm just grateful that I get to be a part of something like this where we get to share this type of information, not with just my own selfish ways and self, but we get to share it with the public. I want to scream this from a mountaintop, and sometimes our hands are tied about certain traditions and what have you, but we get to share this stuff, and I'm just grateful for that. I want to keep droning on because I'm so grateful for so many things, and you guys taught me that. So I love you guys, and that's what I'm grateful for.
So,
Katie, thank you.
buzzer beater.
What do you got for us this week, Tad?
Well, I was going to just say it's another one similar to what we've done.
What did we do before? I want them to.
You want to do that again?
Yes, yes.
Okay, fine. Everyone loves that one. If you could 12-step any fictional character, who would it be?
Oh, I'll go first. Okay. Now, I'm 12-stepping Rick Sanchez. That's it. From Rick and Morty. It's some cartoon.
Okay.
That's who I'm 12-stepping.
Any fictional character.
Like
It could be
Dopey Dog.
Mickey Mouse, anyone.
I know.
Yes.
I know.
All right,
I
well-
would 12-step Carl from Fries and Shake.
From Aqua Teen Hunger Force? You with Carl?
never
I know.
done-
I can't believe you. I'm impressed that you know that.
Yeah,
show.
my little brother used to
Oh.
live in my basement after he got out of
My
prison.
nickname was Shake, the milkshake, for like ever in my
They used
active
to make
addiction.
fun of me and call me Carl
Oh my
when I'd wear a
God,
tank
Carl
top.
just cracks me up.
When I'd wear a tank top, I'm all hairy and bald.
So I would, well, he's sober now, but I would 12-step Steve-O from, what was that show?
Fictional. No, it's got to be
He's a
fictional.
real
They called
person.
me-
He's
yeah.
not
Oh,
fictional.
fictional?
I picked
Yeah.
a real person the first week, and they're like, "Oh no!" So
Yeah, but
fiction.
I got
Fake.
a good fixed one. Underdog.
Underdog. Didn't someone do that last week?
Very good.
Yep. Sid.
Perfect.
I said Scrooge last time. I'm gonna say the Grinch this time.
Oh man, Sid's going for heavyweights.
Who you got, Matt?
I'm gonna do. I did it last week, but Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh.
Eeyore. What is he a drunk?
He's depressed.
Something's going on.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're right. Depressed.
Yeah,
Good
Any
job.
fictional character.
Mine would be Beavis.
He was a butthead. Killer. That's a great one. Elena. Fictional character. Mike's right there. To your right.
I wasn't even paying attention.
Any, if you
Fictional
could
character.
12-step any fictional character, who would it be?
I wasn't paying attention to what other people were saying.
That's okay.
What's that one guy?
Quick,
Bender from The Simpsons.
Oh,
Bender.
it's from Futurama, but you know.
Futurama.
Futurama.
So
Matt Groening, same character.
Before I give my answer, I have a question. Are pro wrestlers fictional characters?
No, you can't use a pro wrestler.
They're characters? So
Hey, man, football's
Stone
fake,
Cold
wrestling's
Steve
real.
Austin.
Yeah, if wrestling's real, and Paul had a, we're talking fictional. You
So
gotta
I
go
can't. I can't.
The answer is no.
No.
Stone Cold is a character.
No.
Yeah, it is a character. But okay, so since I can't say Stone Cold Steve Austin, that I would do him.
I think you just did.
Yeah, I know. You know what? I think I would do Bob from Bob's Burgers.
Bob from Bob's Burgers.
Yeah, he's always stressed out.
I think the
could use-
wife,
he
she
could use-
drinks that wine. She
Yeah,
needs that
but
wine.
Bob's always stressed out and he's taking on other people's stuff, and
Yeah.
I just think that he could use the 12
No,
steps.
you're right. You're right.
So he could take some me time.
Codependency, if
Yeah.
anything.
I would
huh?
I'd bring the plumber to the Eaters Anonymous.
Right. I've always done super heavyweights, like I was going for with the wrestling, so I decided to go
Right.
the opposite direction this time.
Fucking good show this week. This was
Hey, man,
awesome.
this was a great show.
Yeah,
We want to
thank
thank
you,
Paul
yeah.
and Carolyn. You guys want to say bye to everyone?
Bye. Thank you for listening, and
Well,
hope
we're-
to see you at the center.
Yeah, come check out.
Plug it again.
Yeah,
plug
right
it.
on. Thank
The
y'all.
address and whatever. Let's hear the address.
2520 North 2nd Street. Come in the side door. You'll see all the cars parked along the street. And, oh my gosh, Peter Griffin.
Yeah, my friend Nathaniel says Peter Griffin.
Like us on Facebook. We'll work for recovery.
Yeah, and also we have a website, willworkforrecovery.org, and a social page, We Recovery Rocks.
There you go.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's another
Thank you.
tool.
Yeah.
Paul, you want to check out on us?
Check out as in
Goodbyes. What, I don't know. Say bye to our audience.
Candy says,
goodbye,
"Love you
audience.
guys."
Much love, happy trails,
Happy
and
trails.
thank you.
We say bye-bye for now. 'cause
Bye-bye
we'll
for
be
now.
seeing each
TTFN,
other.
like Tigger. Ta-ta for now.
Yeah, TTFN.
Thank you guys
yeah,
again.
yeah.
Thank you guys.
Thank
I'm gonna
you
plug
Thank you
next
for
week's
having
show.
us. Yep.
Next week, we have another amazing show. I let Tim do the booking, so it's going to be super amazing. Derek S. and Zach C. are going to be on the show. This is going to be weird for me because I've no one ever. This is going to be the first time I don't know a guest.
Yeah,
Which Tim has
you've
had.
met him. You've met him.
He claimed.
They're sponsor and sponsee, and they're both embedded in this program.
And
It's gonna be a
Tim's
great
had to
show.
do it a little bit like that before some shows like
Yeah,
this. So
Rusty and Jason. And
yeah, so
it'll flow.
but we move on and we accept it and we keep going like everything else in life. I love you,
is
brother.
key.
I'm just busting your balls today.
You know what, Paul and Carolyn, I do. Again, I just want to thank you guys so much for coming on the show. I'm so
Yeah,
grateful.
Thanks for having us.
This was
Yeah.
this was freaking awesome.
Yeah, it went by fast. I mean,
No kidding.
time fly when you're having fun.
JJ.
Thank you,
I know you
JJ.
can't say hey back or tell me to shut up, but JJ, we love you.
We
And I'm
love you,
giving a
JJ.
shout out.
Love you, JJ.
Yes, that's yours.
So, with that, I just want to say see y'all next week, and y'all have a great time, and hey, stay amazing, and do your best, everyone.
24.
24 is all we need.
24 hours is still the world record.
That's right, baby.